Last time, while riding my motorcycle through the woods, looking for what is left of this old trestle across Daniel Creek, I was stopped by the creek itself. This time, I went up the river to find tunnel number 1 on the old Kellerman M&O Railroad. Tag along with me and find out what else I saw. Also, in the last trip, I inadvertently passed right by this platform that I believe held the old water tank midway up the line from the river. I will be continuing to go back down in there to see if I can find any remnants of the old water tank, and this is where it is on the map. But this time, I rolled in from the other side of Daniel Creek, from the riverside. It's much easier access on this, and this is the only surviving section of the rail bed left on the river, and the tunnel is approximately right there. You may recognize some of this terrain from several weeks back. I went camping down in this area back before I had much interest in the railroad history or anything besides Kellerman at that point. I just wanted to do some camping in the woods, and there's quite a few places in this area that are just magnificent and beautiful. And when I discovered this section of rail bed that I remember from many years ago, I used to ride my motorcycle down in here. I did not remember finding this rock quarry that was just about perfect for what I wanted to do. I just wanted to get into the woods before the storm came in and enjoy some nature and sounds of the rain, and that's it. Turned out really well, and I'll link that video up here so you can take a look at it if you have a few minutes to watch that. It's pretty interesting. I thought I might actually do some fishing that weekend, but I wound up just kind of sitting up under the tarp and cooking over a fire, trying to get my cooking skill, build up my cooking skills. We just passed this rock here. It's just this huge rock that fell down, and since it's fallen down, there's been quite a bit of erosion. I guess the water's coming down the road, and all the gravel that washed out in the wash there started eroding the road. And now I'm actually turning onto the rail bed here. This is the last section of rail bed on the river that is not submerged, and it's just fantastic. The last trip I had down here, most of these divots, these little holes, were full of water, and I had a bald front tire, and probably wisely I only hiked a little bit down this rail bed. But just look off onto the left side, you can see the river here. It's just a beautiful day. Had a fantastic day riding down the bed. I have heard that there was some talk about them possibly making this into a county park or some kind of a recreation area, like they do a lot of old rail beds. They even prevented the previous mine owners from blowing up the mine. They wanted to keep it. They wanted to preserve the history, and I'm really excited to hear that. I don't know that this is ever going to be turned into a park, and it may actually prevent me from riding my motorcycle down here. But if other people can enjoy it, all the better. I'll hike in it instead of riding a motorcycle in it. But it's an amazing piece of history running right alongside the Warrior River, and the fact that the Corps of Engineers flooded this place back in the 60s is a story in itself. It's probably a story that I'm going to tell. And here I am rolling into the tunnel number 1, and it's just exactly the way I remembered it, underwater. And unfortunately, there's a lot of rock if you think about it, and this is a big, long, curving tunnel that curves and turns up Daniel Creek. For some reason, I was thinking I could get down in here when it hadn't been raining for a week, and this tunnel might be a little bit drier, but it's just as deep as I remember it. I don't know if it's 4 feet deep in the middle. It may just be a couple of feet deep. I may be able to make it through there, but all these big stones in the path kind of concern me, and the fact that I would worst case scenario, I break my leg in there and I can't get out. Can't even get out of the tunnel, maybe. Best case scenario is get around the tunnel. I really want to go to the other side. I'm going to go to the other side somehow. The other two tunnels are supposed to be relatively dry. I know that they probably all dry out a lot more in the summer because it doesn't rain that much in the summer around here, but this is the first time I've been down to this tunnel since 1987, maybe. Yeah, 1987 is the last time I was at this tunnel. And I'm pretty sure the last time I was here, I rode through it, but it was very deep then, and it was the middle of summer. And just seemed like there was just these big holes that would swallow your bike, and big rocks like this everywhere. So you'd be riding along and hit something like this with your front wheel, or glance off of it with stuff like this. If you're trying to go this direction here and you glance off a slick rock like that, it's going to put you on your ass, break your leg maybe. Anyway, disappointing and exciting all at the same time. I love this stuff. Look at that amazing tunnel. To get coal out of the ground. Out of the rail bed here, you'll notice over to the right, looks like an old boat landing. Seems like people used to bring their boats down here and run them into the river. Just up on the left, you'll notice a little turn. If you remember the old camping video, this is the way into the old rock quarry that Tom Lawson talked about being back in here. And when I camped in here, I realized that pretty quickly that this was a rock quarry. I just thought it was interesting that it was so beautiful. You can go check out the video. But yeah, this is a fantastic place to camp. You're surrounded by these sheer cliffs, and it's just amazing. And I will be coming back down in here to camp. I'm probably going to be camping somewhere on the creek too. It's a whole lot more inaccessible getting in on the other side of the creek, but just turned out to be a great day to do some exploring, and I was pretty excited to at least get to the tunnel. I really wanted to go through it, but I wasn't real hopeful because it's so deep. I mean, it could be 3 feet deep in that creek, and there's huge boulders in the middle, and you know, carrying electronics and my fancy little motorcycle. I want to keep this thing, so. But I will be back down on this side. But probably the next trip is going to be trying to find tunnel number 3 and tunnel number 2. I'm going to try to get up same section that the creek that stopped me. Hopefully it'll be down a little bit, and I'll feel a little bit more comfortable blasting through blasting through that deep sandy bottom creek. But hopefully you'll see that coming up soon, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.